Greetings artists! My name is Alan Moonspear, and this is my first video to YouTube. Well, I want to start by saying that I have suffered from depression and anxiety for years. And with the confinement of the pandemic and the high stress at my work, I had a nervous breakdown. As a form of treatment for all of my mental health issues, my therapist suggested that I go back to doing something I loved doing when I was a child. And that's when I remembered how much I loved drawing. That when I was a teenager, I made a lot of doodles in my notebooks. But when I became an adult, I started to sabotage myself and heavily criticize my drawings, to the point that I stopped drawing for decades. And I believed that I didn't know how to draw. Thinking about all this, I looked for a drawing teacher. And it was then that I met Sensei and the artist Fernanda Prado and started taking drawing classes with her. From there, in addition to classes with Sensei Fernanda, I watched several drawing videos, read several books, took some online courses, and participated in drawing workshops. My idea in making this video is to record my progress and also as a way to continue my therapy, forcing myself to draw more often. I do not consider myself in any way an artist or a professional designer. But today, I learned to be more tolerant with my mistakes, kinder with my drawings, and to have fun while I'm drawing, in addition to enjoying studying and researching the subject. But you might be wondering, why should I or would I want to watch this video? Right. Because in addition to filming myself practicing my drawings, I will explain my process and share things I learned and found useful. If you are a beginner, I hope you feel encouraged to start drawing or draw more often. And understand that as long as you have fun drawing, it doesn't matter what other people think, your drawing will be amazing. And the more you practice, the better you will get. And if you're already a designer, maybe you'll learn something new or something that will make your drawing practice easier or simpler. Who knows? Whether you're a beginner, an intermediate, or a pro, if I can in any way help you draw better, more often, or have fun with your drawing, I'll be very happy about it. And of course, if you leave a comment on this video that helps me improve my drawing, that would be amazing, and I really appreciate the help. And where to start? Well, as Andrew Bosch, from the Zabio Arts YouTube channel, would say, it's very important that we use high-quality materials. That's why I'm using a binder sheet, but it could be an A4 sheet used in printers, a pencil I bought in a Chinese store, an old eraser, a mechanical pencil, bought in the same Chinese store as the pencil, and a cap. The truth is that I have and use other, better quality materials. But for now, let's go with my simplest and cheapest materials. I do it this way because, before I actually start drawing, I like to warm up my hands' muscles by drawing squares, circles, small emojis, doodling some straight lines, some curved lines, hatching or shading the figures I've already drawn, and sometimes making some doodles. Doing this not only warms up my muscles, but also helps me break through any blocks I may have. But it also helps me come up with new ideas and get into a rhythm before I start sketching. I recommend doing this frequently. Start with 5 minutes, but take as long as you like. Oh, and always take regular breaks to get up, stretch, and hydrate yourself. With warmed up muscles, no creative blocks, an idea in my mind, and the rhythm to draw. I take out one of my sketchbooks and start to draw gently, without any worries. Just putting on paper approximately what I want to draw, without thinking about the final result, nor the proportions, nor the symmetry, nor the perspective. This is just an outline, and it's okay if I make some mistakes. After all, I have an eraser to correct any mistakes I make. First, we draw a circle to define our character's head. Just below the circle, a straight line to define the height and center of our character. Divide this straight line in half. As you can see in the reference image, the height of our legs is half of our total height. The rectangle will be the character's torso. Leave space for the neck. And don't worry about size or proportion. The first triangle will be to define the pelvis or underpants of our character. Then we will draw 2 triangles connected to the underpants to represent our legs. Let's now draw 2 triangles connected to the character's torso. These will be the arms. And remember, it doesn't have to be perfect or smooth. We are still in the drafting stage. And the most important thing is that you have fun with the process. Now I want to define some details of the character's head and neck. Our head is not perfectly round. It is flattened on the sides. Remember that our neck is connected to our shoulders. Take the opportunity to draw the curve of the shoulders. Well, if you know Zabio Arts channel, you will notice that I am using the same method as him. That's because, besides being a fan of his channel, I agree that it's a very simple way to draw a full body character. Now draw 2 small squares, or 2 diamonds, to represent the hands. And to give it a special touch, draw a small letter T to represent the knuckles of a closed hand. The last 2 remaining triangles will be our character's feet. Now with head, torso, and limbs, the general structure of our sketch is defined. Let's start adding some details to this sketch so they become a real character. As you can see from the reference image, our legs are curved. From this front angle, the outside of the thighs are more curved than the inside. A small curve to form the knees. And our calves are the opposite of our thighs. This means that the inside has a sharper curve than the outside. No matter how thin or less muscular a person is, their arms and forearms will still have curves. To simplify, we can define the arm as having 2 distinct muscles and the forearm as 1 complete muscle. Remember, this is just a simplification. The first muscle in the arm represents the connection of the arm to the shoulder, and the second muscle in the arm is the biceps. I'm going to switch to the mechanical pencil so I can draw the details of the face. Again, let's simplify our design and follow a template. First, divide the face into 2 parts with a straight vertical line in the middle. Then, divide the face into 3 parts. And it's okay if they're not the same size. Then divide the face in half with a straight horizontal line. This line represents the height of the eyes. Where the vertical line meets the horizontal line below is where the tip of our character's nose is. Simplify the nose as a small V. Use the edges of your nose to indicate where the curve of your eyes begins. Draw a line over each eye to simplify the eyebrows. The top horizontal line is where the character's hair begins. Going from the line of the eyes to the line of the tip of the nose, draw half of a heart on each side of the head to make the ears. Below the nose, divide the vertical line in half. This will be the character's mouth. Make a small scratch below the mouth to represent the edge of the lower lip. The character is ready. Naked, but ready. Now let's add some details to flesh out the character and give him more personality. A curved line below the neck and on the arms will make the character look like he is wearing a t-shirt. Stretch the lines on the side a little to give the impression of depth and separation of the shirt sleeves. The ankles are represented by small triangles. A tip to remember how to draw the calves and ankles, seen from the front, and to remember Mr. Angry as the reference illustration. The curve of the calves is more upwards, on the outside of the legs, and more downwards, on the inside of the legs. The ankles are the opposite. The curve of the ankles is more downward, on the outside of the legs, and more upward, on the inside of the legs. Leave the base of the triangles, which represent the feet, rounded. Below and above the ankles draw curved lines. And so, you will have shoes and the hems of the legs of a pair of pants. For the pant legs, you can draw them following the outline of the legs, or straight. As the 2 reference images show, the same goes for pockets, belts, and the cuffs of your pants. There are several models and shapes. Here I am simplifying as much as possible to make drawing easy and quick. Because it is still a sketch, it is ideal to always use a reference image for your drawings. Remember when I said to draw gently? To draw without worries, and I have an eraser to correct any mistakes? Well then, now the eraser will come into action, erasing all the initial strokes, our guidelines, and all the scribbles we don't want in the drawing. But don't use the eraser too hard so you don't erase your entire drawing. After that, redraw what you accidentally erased and highlight any details you want. Remember to be patient and enjoy the process. Draw calmly. You don't need to rush. The more time and detail you invest in your drawing, the better the result will be. I sped up this part of the video just so it wouldn't be boring for you. Take your time. When you think your drawing is ready, how about adding some shadows? This will make your drawing more interesting and lively. I decided that the light source would come from above and in the center, so it's natural for the character to project his shadow below him. By the way, sorry about the shaking video. I'm using my cell phone to film and it's stuck to the table. So every time I use a little more force, my phone will wobble. Don't forget to add shadows to the other parts of the body, like the inside of your arms, under your chin, under your hair, and so on. Here I decided to use some lines and some shadows to represent the folds of the fabric. But you don't need to worry about that now. I plan to make another video about this in the future. If you watched this far, I thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a comment telling me if I helped you in any way, or if you learned something new from this video. If there is anything I can improve, go ahead and comment. Also comment on what kind of tips you would like to learn. Thank you very much and see you next time.